Welcome to the Giving a Purpose podcast, where we bridge the highs, the lows, the lessons learned through life's journey, and filling in the gap. Listen, you already know what it is. We're at the beginning of the week, so I need you to get your energy up. I need you to get that momentum flowing. Now, as we talked about last week, right, you got to make sure that you are disciplined, right? You got to make sure you're committed to what you're doing, and you have to be consistent. That's what we're focusing on. All right, that's what we're going to build the momentum. Listen, we are in the first quarter of this year. All right, remember, I also talked about the things that we didn't accomplish that we had on our vision board. We're going to get it done. We're going to make it happen. It's either it's going to get done or it's going to get done. Those are the only two options. Now, also to help us prepare for this year, because I told you in 2022, double blessings. So prepare to receive it. But we also have to make sure the most important thing is covered. All right. And that's the mindset. And that's the things in our mind and the things that are going on. So this next guest I'm bringing up needs no introduction. If you know me, she was my first guest 2 years ago, right? When I first started my podcast. She's been a reoccurring guest. We also were doing at one point, but life happens and different things happen. She was also doing an IG live with me every Monday. We were doing a mental health Monday with that. And so I had to bring her back. I call her Dr. Marsh. I'd like to welcome y'all, Tristan, back to the Giving a Purpose podcast. Welcome back, Tristan. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm blessed, man. I cannot complain. It's so good to see you. I've missed you so much. And listen, it's 2022. Listen, we are 2 years in, and I know mentally this is a lot. Okay, it's a lot because one, we thought it was going to be a couple of months, and then it kept going, and then we would think, okay, because they made this thing about, hey, you get vaccinated, we get about 70% vaccination thing, we gonna be good. Mentally, we got that out in our head. Like, boom, we're going to do this. Everything is going to be good. We're going to get back to a new normal.
Yes.
But we 2 years in, and this Omicron out here snatching bodies. You dig? Out here snatching bodies. But I want to know, what can we do? Because some people do not know how to handle things that they can't control. And so we keep getting these things like they're giving, we watch the news and it's just like, all right, if I do this or I get my booster, we're going to do this. But mentally, we keep facing these hurdles. Like, what are some things that we can do to kind of overcome, some of those things?
Well, I mean, we definitely can have a sense of control, but we both know that control overall is false. Let's just be real. So, but we can still do our part, and it's the same thing even if it's the flu or any other kind of virus that's going around or sickness. We still do our part. Wear our masks and wash our hands, social distance. Be responsible about your health, and being responsible also means knowing what you can and can't handle. Being mindful of that, So I think starting there is a good step. But however, we have to be mindful, like you said, like we don't control any of this. We're just kind of going along with the flow. People who are vaccinated are still getting it. People who wear their masks are still getting it. People who social distance, I don't go nowhere. I stay in the house. I work from home. But guess what? I still got it. So
yes.
Understanding that we have to be mindful of what we can and can't control. That's first and foremost. And understanding, like you said, it just starts with your mental space. Yeah. You cannot live in fear.
That's what it is. So, but question on that. I think that's why it's going around as well, because people are not living in fear. And as I forget my man's name, people are not wearing their masks. It's important. But I think because of some of that, what you just said, I think it's also why it's not that because the variant is contagious. Let's not skip that part. But I think because people are not living in fear, and maybe it's just my Facebook and IG timeline, but I see a lot of people doing a lot of things, a lot of traveling,
Oh no,
a lot of
it ain't just yours.
parties, maskless.
It ain't just yours. But when I say we can't live in fear, that doesn't mean we disregard danger. Danger
Mm,
is real. Fear is fake.
mm,
So danger is I see a lion in my face. I'm going to be mindful in how I move and get out of that situation. So if I am exposing myself to COVID, I'm putting myself in danger.
mm, mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean I let it consume me on a day-to-day basis. So yes, you take the precautions and you do your part. But at the end of the day, you can't allow it to consume you because fear can definitely fester.
Oh,
So understanding that fear is fake, but danger is real, and this is a dangerous virus.
it, it really is. Well, yeah, it is, and the fact that the mutations, because I don't know what happened between the mutations. I don't know what happened between we're both in Greekdom. I don't know how we went from Delta to Omicron so fast. I don't know what
That's not
happened in
even
the
the
middle.
alphabet.
You know what I'm saying? I don't
That's
even
not even
know.
how the alphabet
I'm
goes.
not even sure how we skipped so many different Greek letters that we jumped to Omicron, and this one out here, like I said, is doing this thing. And but like I said, I think because there's so misinformation and people are getting so many things from different places, it puts us in that danger zone, and we're not using common sense. I know I talk about a student that I have all the time. This student that I have to tell all the time, like, just pull your mask up, or she'll try to not have it on, and we have to have this discussion. And she's like, well, I can't get COVID because I had COVID, and so I got antibodies and I got the vaccine. I'm like, I'm not sure who told you that, but that's not true. And I need you to, to put your mask on, because one, it's probably a law because of the mayor that we have is doing is like, just do it. I mean, you're not really answering questions in class anyway, but I'm using her as an example. But that is because we're having so many things and so much information coming from so many places. People come up with these conclusions of, I don't even want to say stupidity, but they just come up with these things that have nothing to do with common sense or the danger you kind of talked about.
Right, but you're getting a lot of mixed signals across the board. Like it's
Yeah.
some states, like Arizona, they don't have a mask mandate. They never missed school. They never was virtual. You know what I'm saying? So understanding that is mixed signals, and when mommy and daddy are fighting, the children get in the way. So when the government and federal government and the CDC and everyone else has different views, us the people are the children, and we get caught in the crossfires. And that's why you get these numbers. Like I remember when they first started doing the vaccinations, and they're like, "Oh, if you're fully vaccinated, you don't have to wear your mask." Okay, then they got a whole the Delta variant. Then it's
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, well, you still got a social distance, but it's like they made it seem as if this vaccine was a safeguard. Come to find out, you can still get it even if you're vaccinated. So
Mm-hmm.
it's mixed signals, and that's why I say it's highly important to do your own research and educate yourself and know your body.
That part. That part there.
It's important. You know your health conditions. I know that I huff and puff going up and down the steps anyway. So when I had COVID, I just knew. I'm like, and this is what asthma feel like. Lord have mercy. Thank you that I don't have it, because that was real. But understanding, you have to know your body, know your diet, know your lifestyle. So when you are faced with certain things, you know when something's off, and you don't have to wait to fully expose other people. You know when you start to get them symptoms, when you got a little in your throat, and
Exactly.
like something ain't right, and you have to do your due diligence and that's what happened to me and my daughter. She had a little scratchiness in her throat. I'm like, what's that? What's that? Oh no, sis, get a test. Get a test. And I was able to quarantine before I even had symptoms.
Mm,
So
gotcha.
think of how many people I was able to prevent from spreading. But again, that's knowing your body and doing your due diligence.
And I also think the part that people miss is you have to, and that's something that they don't put out there. You have to do stuff to build your immune system. Like you still can't be eating bad, and just because you got the vaccine, and just like there are certain things that your body does to fight off certain things, but you have to build your immune system. Like you can't eat crappy, not taking any vitamins or anything like that, and just be like, because I remember one of my homeboys. I'm talking about. It was probably 2 days after he got his second shot. He went on vacation and no mask on. Like, yeah, I'm good. I got that Pfizer. I'm like, I don't know what that means, but okay. But you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's just, but like I said, people still don't understand that there's certain things. Like for me, it's daily. Like vitamin C, I take some. I have an elderberry. I'm about to get back into my sea moss and stuff like that, and doing my juices and stuff like that. But it's to prevent anything. Like I don't even remember the last time I really had a cold like that, because it's just something that that I just gonna have to build my immune system. Like, if I feel anything
They
trying to come, I'm like vitamin C, juices and stuff like that, and water. You know what I'm saying? Like just drinking enough water, and just different things like that.
Absolutely. And that's the biggest thing is like you said, being mindful of that as far as your health and where you are. I know for me, because I knew the major part of the COVID is the building of the mucus and then the stuffiness.
Mm-hmm.
So when I found out my daughter had it and I tested, I cut out dairy because I'm like, I'm
Mm.
not going to help add to the mucus and add to the
Facts.
phlegm. I'm not gonna
Facts.
help do that. And another thing, when my daughter had it prior to me catching it, and I was taking care of her, I made her get up and we walked the neighborhood every day, because
Mm-hmm.
COVID is one thing, but people don't talk about how easy it is to be depressed because you're
Tuh.
quarantining.
Say
That
that.
depression in that COVID phase, like being like, I know for me, being in my room, I was literally in my room for a week straight. I didn't see thank God when I came downstairs, my house was still clean. But, shout out to my daughter for cleaning up and taking care of me. But just bouncing back from that, like my whole sleep schedule was set, just thrown
Mm-hmm.
off. Like my whole mood was thrown off because I was in a room just sleeping, trying to recover. So understanding that it's so many things that come with COVID, not just COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
we have to be mindful of that.
Yeah, I I totally understand. Especially, I just don't understand. Like for some people, why it's just not a wake up call. Like I don't understand what all of these things that have to transpire for you to not be like, is that G? Tell G I said hello.
No,
Oh, that wasn't G.
it's the dogs. It's the
Oh,
dogs.
I was gonna say hi.
I'm just
But
like,
yeah.
y'all better not bark. Y'all better not bark.
Yeah, but just having the common sense to do those simple things, just to keep yourself healthy, you know. And I think because we're in such, even though I have my good me shirt on, and it doesn't stand for just me, but I think we're in such a me culture. People don't think about how it affects other people. You know what I'm saying? Like they think the mask is just for them, or you know what I'm saying, and the quarantine is just about them. It's about you affecting other people, just
There
doing
you go.
just doing those due diligence. Now I don't want to make this whole podcast a CDC type of thing. You know what I'm saying? I got the trap therapist here, and we just not gonna do a whole CDC quarantine pandemic podcast. So, but other than that, man, how have you been? Like I said, believe it or not, we are good people. We're friends, but we haven't seen each other in a long time,
I
and
know.
and uh, usually we connect because we were doing our thing on Monday and just different things like that. But besides the COVID part, how have you been?
I've
um,
been great. I've been like truly, truly great. This is Genesis senior year of high school.
mm.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. So every day I'm like, I can't wait for you to move out. Like, I love you, but I can't. So I remember it was a phase where she was like, oh, well, I think I'm gonna just live here and commute. No, you're gonna go stay on campus. So we got our acceptance letter into her, number one choice. So everything is going great. She's starting her second business. My second business is going well. Everybody in the house got businesses. So we're
Listen,
doing wonderful.
so for the people that don't know, let's catch them up. I've had some new people jump on ship, and even through the pandemic, you were doing it before the pandemic. Can you kind of explain how you got Genesis to this point? I mean, because what you've done, as a single parent, running your own business, having another stream of income and teaching, you know, your daughter all of the many lessons, but teaching her about entrepreneurship and, you know, planting those seeds for her to be successful in whatever she does. So can you kind of recap for the new people? I guess it wouldn't be a recap for them. I guess it would be new for them, but just kind of catch them up of all the hard work that you've put in to get her to. We are almost at the finish line. I'm not sure when graduation is, May, June ish, but we know it was tough to get her to this point. But can you kind of talk to that to see, so we can kind of help people understand that it can happen?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like you said, I'm a single mom. I've been a single mom since she was like 4 months old. So, you know, this ain't nothing new. I don't have any family in Atlanta. You know, I'm here by myself. So understanding that juggling of still trying to have my own life and my own successes while still supporting my child through her successes, it was not easy, but it was rewarding, you know. So for her business, like I tell people all the time, she started high school when she was 13. And she actually started, when she started high school, she already had 5 high school credits. So she started high school as a sophomore. Mm. So, you know, I've always stayed on her as far as her academics. To me, I'm like, your academics and your characteristics, like your morals and values, those are the 2 biggest things. Your room might be a shit mess. You might not make up your bed. It's okay. You know, but to me, that foundation of work ethic and morals and values was always highly important to me. So, I remember she was starting school and I'm like, listen, you know, I brush up on my own stuff. I have my own business. And I'm like, I know for a fact your demographic are the number 1 consumers. Like, you know, them tweens, them tweens and teens, the parents spend a lot of money on them.
That
so
they do.
As I'm explaining to her, listen, I was like, I don't know what business you're going to start, but you're going to start a business. I give you 2 months to figure it out. I gave her 2 months. Every couple of weeks, I would check in. Hey, you thought of something? Hey, you thought of something? She's like, no. Okay, keep thinking. So she came to me. She's like, well, I think I want to sell lashes. I'm like, you mean like lashes, like in the box? You know, because I love my lashes. And she's like, yeah. I said, okay. Well, if you're gonna sell lashes, you need to know everything about lashes. Because I'm the type of person, you can't sell something you don't know. And if you're going to do something, you're going to know beginning and end, up and down, left and right. You're going to know, you're going to be an expert in this field if this is what you're going to do. So I paid $1,000 for her to go and get certified to be a lash technician. She was 13. Wow. That was, I think she's going on 3 years now. 3 years, successful business. Honey, the child makes more money than me sometimes, okay? Like, listen, literally. I be looking at her like...
If you look through the black culture... And we just know it's popping in ATL. Listen, we know people getting their lashes done.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So not only did I pay for her to do that, but I also gave her my dining room. I let her have the dining room, and I spent another $1,000 just on equipment. So she could set up the dining room like a lash bar. It's, you know, you walk in, and it's just like a cute little lash bar. And her clients are comfortable and everything. So to me... I'm big on professionalism. I don't care if you're selling Girl Scout cookies, a lemonade stand, or Tesla. Like, professionalism and work ethic and business ethic is highly important. So, you know, that was one thing I've always preached to her. So now she actually is launching her second business, which is a wig line. She has her... I know, right? She has her own wig line. So she knows how to make wigs, and she always knew how to make wigs. So now she's launching her own wig line. So, you know, she dyes her wigs, dyes her hair, you know, does all this other stuff. And now she's turned into a business. So I'm like,
man,
you still going to college, though. You still going to college, though.
Listen, you can do both. You need multiple streams of income because we know once, you know, everything calmed down, people going to need their lashes done for homecoming. All right.
Oh, yeah.
They're gonna need yes. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna need their lashes done for every event. I know people that need it to go to the grocery store. So
yeah. She has consistent, like literally on a weekly basis, she has about 5 to 7 clients come in on a weekly basis. And she's charging $75 to $100 per client for lashes. And then mind you,
I'm about to do some lashes.
Listen, I'm over there like, dang, you need me to... I'm over there being a sister. I'm wiping the table down. And, you know, like...
Listen.
Can we get a tip today? You know? So, I'm like when my child thrives, I thrive. So, and then she's also a shift supervisor at CVS on top of still going to school and everything else. But the beautiful part is because of her senior year, she was in dual enrollment. So she, was taking college classes already because she was already in advance. So she only needs 3 more classes to graduate. So she only goes to school every other day.
And making bread. Her own bread.
Listen, because I had her high school classes mapped out before she started high school.
Oh, wow.
But that's about knowing the education system, knowing the graduations for, the requirements for graduation, knowing where your child is and everything else. Like I tell people all the time, like be hands on. High school is not the time to let your foot off the gas. That's the time when you like grab on that steering wheel and you press hard on the gas because they can literally lose sight. Their social life is the biggest thing to them at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And you really have to keep them focused or, it can go either way. And I'm not taking that gamble. I'm sorry.
So speaking of that, and just knowing you probably already do, even though most decisions may still be up to her, even though because she skipped, she may still be a little young to do everything. What does her next 4 years look like after she leaves? And I mean, because you set her up with a good foundation, but I yes. know you have at least an outline. I know if I'm talking to the Tristan that I know, I know you got a blueprint, an outline, or something of what her next 4 years would kind of look like. I know you give her the freedom to make her decisions, and you support it. But I know you have an outline at least. Like I said, we kind of want to help parents that are either at this point or behind the game. Because like you said, as a teacher, I see a lot of hands off, you know, and even when I get to the point where I'm doing parent teacher conferences, like I had a parent, it's just the craziest thing. I had a parent I was talking to, and I was like, your son comes late to my class all the time. I don't care if it's 2 minutes late. One, it's not even that you're 2 minutes late. It's the fact that your excuse is you tell me you walk slow, which is bad. One, and I tell them all the time, I said, y'all always have to remember this one thing. I graduated from here. And I graduated from here with double the amount of people that you have in this school. So if I can move through almost 800 people to get to my class on time, you have no, please stop telling me you coming from the art room or you coming from the cafeteria. I've done it. I did my 4 years and I've done it before. So I need you to have a different excuse. But I was talking to the mom, and one time, and I'm not usually that type of teacher, but I know he's doing it. So I locked my door. So he came in, and mom was like, "Is this the teacher that locked the door on you?" "Yes, ma'am, I did." And then when he gets to the door, "Wherever you came from, I need you to go get me a note." "I ain't got nothing." "Sounds like a problem. You need to go get one for you to answer." Oh. So because you're inconveniencing me in my class, I'm going to inconvenience you until you get it and make sure you're here on time. Because I know you play football. You're not late for practice like this because there's a consequence for it. You're not late to the games like this because there's probably a consequence for it. But
exactly,
you know what I'm saying? I've seen, even when my point is when I was talking to the parent, she kind of at the end of it kind of brushed it off like, I'll talk to him about it. Like, no, ma'am, like he's a junior. He'll be a senior next year. And he's already, and I've seen it a lot, especially with my athletes, especially when they're getting these offers, they start taking the foot off their gas because they think, all right, I've made it, especially when they're signing in their junior year sometimes, or they're not necessarily committed, but they have an idea. Yeah. They've kind of like, all right, I made it and whatever. I'm just here to do my time. And we had a conversation about that. And I told them, I said, y'all treat this like a jail sentence. And
but understanding that you're going to college. So college is right after this. Like this is preparation for that.
Yeah. I tell them all the time, I said, I don't care about Pythagorean theorem. I don't care about any of the stuff that I'm teaching. I said, the lesson that I always want you guys to learn is Can you take information and can you apply it and execute it at a high level?
it.
That's all it is about. Anything that you do, even if you plan to play football, can you take the playbook? Can you take that information? Can you apply it and execute it at a high level? In anything that you do, if you become an entrepreneur, like that's the lesson I want you to learn. And what I need you guys to understand is that skill is transferable to anything you do in life. And
literally anything you do.
Anything you do in life. So I don't, like I said, I don't care about your Pythagorean theorem. I don't care if you hate math. Can you take this information that honestly I've watered down as much as I can to give to you to do? You know what I'm saying?
And
But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, the issue becomes, as you were saying, is like when the parents set the tone.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I have sessions with the kid, I always make the parents attend at least the last 15 minutes or the first 15 minutes because you set the tone. So if you don't care about therapy, you're just signing your child up because you think your child's a problem. Your child's a problem because you're the problem.
Mm.
And at the end of the day, they're a mirror. You're reflecting. So if you think that math isn't serious, or you think that art isn't serious, or you think therapy isn't serious, guess what? They're going to have that same mentality. Mm-hmm. And that's just what it is. So, and when you was talking about your student, the first thing I thought is slow feet don't eat, baby.
They don't. They don't.
Like, what you doing? Like, we like one thing I don't play about is my coins and my kid. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, and I can't be out here half stepping to be able to still pay my bills and provide for my child. But again, I'm an entrepreneur. So if I don't work, guess what? I don't eat. I don't have a guaranteed check. And everyone doesn't have that kind of tenacity when it comes to certain things.
And not to cut you off, it's because what we got to realize is, and how the system is set up, a 9 to 5 has a safety net. And so because we have that safety net, there's no, I'm not saying, please, I need y'all to hear me. I'm not saying, because some people got to do what they got to do. Let's not get the game twisted. But I think because of that safety net, it's not do or die. You know what I'm saying? Just like you just explained. It provides a level
of comfort.
Yeah. And I don't think it's not the mindset that you just said, or the seed that or the jewel you just dropped. It's not, if I don't do it, I don't eat. It's like, I can go to work, I can BS my 9 to 5, but that check gonna come in 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying?
There you go. And even if you get fired, guess what? Even if you get fired, you still got another check coming 2 weeks later, even after you get fired, because you don't work 2 weeks in a hole. But and this is something I had to stress to my daughter. And I if you remember, I had a workshop, how to motivate minors. One thing I stressed to my daughter is, I don't care if you like it or don't like it. Remove your feelings from the situation. It's about principle. Your reputation precedes you. Your reputation is part of your work ethic. And if your work, I don't care if it's an art project. I don't care if it's you doing lashes. I don't care if it's you cleaning your room. You do it with the same work ethic, but that's about discipline. And I think we always teach our children, it's like, well, if you don't like it, it's okay. No, I don't care if you don't like it. Yes, I care about your feelings. I do. I care about your feelings. But if you don't complete a task, whether I'm your supervisor or your mom, guess what? I don't care why you didn't complete it. I just know you didn't do it. And I think we have to be more mindful of setting those standards when it comes to our children. And it's not about being harsh or mean. It's just like, listen, you can't make permanent decisions based off your feelings, because it has a ripple effect. And you're like, I don't feel like doing this. Guess what, honey? You know how many times I don't feel like driving you here? I don't feel like doing this. But guess what? I still do it, and I do it with a smile on my face. Because regardless, if I don't want to do it, don't mean I gotta be miserable while I'm doing it.
Yeah, and I tell people all the time, I do workshops and stuff like that. I ask adults, raise your hand if you feel like paying your mortgage.
Absolutely not.
It's not about, you know what I'm saying? Like when you're talking to your kids, just like you said, yes, you care about your feelings, but it's not about if you like it or not. This isn't this isn't Instagram. I'm not looking for a heart. I'm not trying to work an algorithm of trying to, go viral and just different things like that. Like I tell my students all the time, you're confusing what you have to, it's not even a balance, what you have to figure out and understand with experience and with intelligence, the difference between what you can do and what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
You can do whatever you want to. You're right. I tell them you can, but there's some things that you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And you have to understand in life when you get an opportunity or you get a situation that you may not be favorable for you. You got to do what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? But you have to have the mindset of that, of having the courage to do what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I give them the example all the time. It's like I have a car. I can run all the stop signs. I can run all the red lights, but I'm not supposed to because those are the rules of the, you know what I'm saying? Like when they gave me a driver's license, it was because I'm supposed to be responsible for these things. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you do have insurance for things that do happen. Things do come up. But if you do what you're supposed to do, you can stay away from certain things. And and you have to find that balance. Like, yes, there are some things you do have to take risks for. But I think what you guys don't understand is, like I said, it's that important part of doing what you're supposed to do. Like, you think you have to go 100 miles an hour every time. Some things can be preventable if you stop, assess the situation, and then go for it. Like you think you can still execute at 100 miles an hour if you properly plan with the knowledge that you have for whatever opportunity or thing that's going on. And like I said, I think that's the part that they miss. It's like you guys are taking risks and not actually caring about the consequences, but then are mad when the consequences happen. And you think y'all favorite line is, we doing too much. You're doing too little of the thinking part that I'm not really doing too much. Exactly.
Right. But and I think the bigger issue is like you said, you got to do what you got to do to get to do what you want to do. Like you got to pay the cost to be the boss. And as I stress my daughter all the time, you can literally have the life you want if you work hard now. You don't have to be a struggling college student. Honey, you have a whole business. Imagine if you take that. And the main reason I'm telling her is like, being strategic is one thing. Like you have to be strategic in life, period. So even if you don't want to stay on campus, because she only needs 3 years to graduate because she's already got 1 year knocked out. If you don't want to stay on campus all 3 years, that's fine. But you're going to stay on for 1 year. And you want to know why? Because you know how much money you can make doing lashes on a college campus? Who else on campus is doing lashes? Nobody. You have no competition. You have no competition. And you have all these kids that's going to spend their money on what? The calf, Uber Eats, and you. So even if you choose to leave after your first year and come home and then commute, that's fine with me. But you're going to go to build your clientele. You're going to go to actually see what it's like to live outside of this home. That's fine with me. But you got to be able to do the work. And if you do the work now, you can live the life you want. Like even when she goes to work at her job, she don't really care to go. Like you said, who really wants to wake up and go to work every day? No one. But while she's there, she said, well, you know what? I could sit at this counter and just stare at the clients or stare at the customers and the time go by super slow. Or I could stock the shelves and I could do this and time will go by faster. So now her supervisor is seeing her stock the shelves. Within 3 months, she got keys to the store. She got bumped up. She got a promotion. Because she just don't want to be bored. They thinking she's like, oh my gosh, she's like, no, I just don't want to be bored. It's about how things. You utilize your time. What they say, time is neutral.
And it's not even that. It's the perspective that you changed in her or she did herself to get that happen. Because that's the key. The key is, yes, you're a bore, but if you change it into the opportunity, all right, boom, to make this time go by faster, I'm just going to do the work. You know what I'm saying? It's the mindset and the perspective of the situation that helps people out. Because we already have a million negative thoughts that we have going through our head. You know what I'm saying? And I've been back in the day, I've been to so many jobs. You'd be sitting there, as soon as you clock in, you'd be like, Lord Jesus. But you know what I'm saying? It's the fact that the perspective of what she was doing is just like, because I've worked a part-time job and it's like, man, I'm gonna be here for 4 hours, and it'd be like the longest. You just be standing there and you be like, Damn, only 20 minutes went by. I thought we was here an hour and
But
something.
7 hours already,
But
right?
when you actually do something, you know what I'm saying? You change the perspective. Like, all right, let me just you get it done. And it's something for me. It happened to me. I know this is crazy. It happened to me when I was a teenager. When my brother graduated, and it was he left the house, and it was left to me to do all of the chores. And so, me and my mom first couple of months was just like, this isn't fair. Like I was splitting all this stuff. Now you're telling me to do all these things. But I changed my perspective. It was she really wasn't stopping me from doing something that was life or death. But what I also realized is that the stuff that she wanted me to do didn't actually take as long as I thought it was in my mind. You thought, like, when she tells you all these tasks, like, that's about to take me like 3 hours to do it. Like, to go wash the dishes, I had like a radio. We actually had a TV thing in there as well. But I would bring my radio down, listen to music. Next thing I know, about 10, 15 minutes, the whole kitchen is done. I'm like, well, damn, this really didn't take me as long as I thought it was. So I just changed the
Exactly.
perspective, and it's not so much a chore anymore. And it's funny,
Mm-hmm.
me and my mom were talking the other day. It's like, I did hate it when I was a kid. I said, but I appreciate it when I got my own stuff. So, like,
Exactly.
when I got when I first got my apartment, I just found myself waking up on Saturdays cleaning it. You know what I'm saying? Because it was something that I was doing when I was in the house. And it was just like, I was already in that routine. It was just like, all right, boom, do this. And you don't have to worry about it no more. You know what I'm saying? But
Exactly.
it's the change in perspective of changing it. Not everything is negative. You know what I'm saying? It's just changing that
There you go.
perspective of just making it happen. And that's key what you said. Well, that
It
you said
is.
about G, yes.
It is. And I call it the stinking thinking. We have
Mm-hmm.
stinking thinking and we like, oh God. Like I told her, she's like, why I gotta do it? I'm like, no, you don't gotta do it. You get to do it. It's a difference. It's a difference. But like you
Mm-hmm.
said, changing that perspective and changing that mentality. And it's like, you can learn from any experience. Hell, you know what? We watch the Karate Kid all the time, and Mr. Miyagi, wax on, wax off. Whole time, it's a lesson in that.
Mm-hmm.
Everything has a lesson, but you have to be willing to seek that lesson to be able to receive those blessings. And many people just see, oh, it's work, it's work, it's work, and it's like, if it's not fun, I don't want to do it. We live in a world where instant gratification is an all-time high, and it's not
Yeah,
real.
it's not. Oh, but the problem is with social media, it is
Yeah.
instant gratification. That type of world that they're living in with their in their phones, like everything is in the palm of their hand. It is real for them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's we have a different perspective because we had a time when we were without. Like, it was a time when everybody didn't have a cell phone. Like in our teenage years, we didn't have internet like that, like it is now. And just different things like that. But for them, their reality is, oh, I want something to eat. Uber Eats. Oh, I don't have to get a driver's license. I can Uber. Or, you know what I'm saying? Just different things like that. Like, oh, if I post this picture, if I come back in 5 minutes, all my friends liked it. Or if I do this TikTok, it may go viral. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for them, I think it is real. I'm not sure how they're going to be as adults and when they take on responsibilities and how things like that. But I think for them right now, their reality, it is, even though we know it's not necessarily, but
It's
because of what they're exposed to, it is real. You know what I'm
it is,
saying?
and the thing is, we both have posted things on our social media, as far as business platforms, and we know the amount of work that actually goes into making a post.
Listen.
It's like, okay, like it's still work, but like the recipient of it, like you say, it's just like you're just there, you're just scrolling, you're clicking, and that's a distraction. Like I tell my daughter all the time, be mindful of your distractions. Your diet isn't just what you eat, it's what you
Mm.
consume, whether you see it, hear it, whatever. You have to do a purge consistently. But she got to the point where she has transitioned in her life that she's not even on social media like that anymore. Like
Oh,
she'll
wow.
go, she'll post for her business. She's off because she's like, I rather make money. And if I can't make money, I can't make money watching other people make money.
Mm. Say that.
So just like you said, just changing your child's thought process, and it has nothing to do with age. It has everything to do with lifestyle and experience. And I tell her all the time, freedom ain't free, baby girl. You want freedom? You gotta pay the cost. You gotta put in that work, whether it's putting in work, whether it's, getting the education, whatever cost, everything is a sacrifice. So are you gonna sacrifice your social life so you can have a successful business, or are you gonna sacrifice your business so you can have a successful social life?
Yeah, freedom can be free if you pay it on the front end. And they think freedom can be paid on the back end. And that's where they mess up. Because like if you take it in perspective in the time that we had, like the slaves wanted freedom. They wanted the freedom that we have now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But they had to pay with their 400 to 500 years of sacrifice for us to live. And it's not even crazy. Like we just got rights maybe like 50 years ago. So, you know
Literally.
what I'm saying?
And some of those aren't even applied or followed.
Exactly.
So, even in the perspective of, like I explained to her, she loves being able to go online and buy whatever she wants. You can't do that unless you go to work. Mm-hmm. You can't do that unless you promote your business and get clients.
But all of that is done on the front end. She's doing those lashes. She's doing over. She's doing that post, and that's how you get the freedom.
Exactly. That's how you pay the cost to be the boss. And explain to her, like, my child, anyone who knows my child, she is very independent. She don't like nobody telling her to do something. It's many times I'm like, do the dishes. Like, I was going to do the dishes, but you told me to do the dishes. Now I don't want to do dishes. That's fine. But your ass better get in there and do them dishes. But she enjoys that freedom. And knowing my child, I played on that component of who she was and helped her find her way as an entrepreneur, as an independent student. And because I know you like that freedom, so let me show you how to take it up a notch. And that along with that trust in that relationship is how she got to the point of being successful at 17. Like I said, it's times I'm like, oh, dinner on you tonight?
That's what's up.
I got everything I wanted for Christmas because my baby got money. I'm like, here's my Christmas list.
Wow, that's a good feeling. That is a good feeling.
It is a great feeling. As a parent, you running, like I was beating her downstairs to the Christmas tree.
That's what's up. Man, listen, we needed this. Like I said, the jewels that you were dropping today and the conversation that we're having, I think people need that refreshness. And you know what I'm saying? Like, we've always done this. So usually every January, I usually have Tristan on, and we try to set the tone and the mindset, because everything will follow. Once you change your mindset and your discipline in that thought process that you have, everything will then fall into place, even if you don't have all the resources. Because if you're doing what you're supposed to doing, the resources will come to you. People will see what you're doing. But we got to get that mindset together. Listen, I appreciate you so much all the time. Listen, this is one person that always comes through for me ever since the beginning. And I just always want to thank her, because I thank her in private, and I always want to thank her publicly on here, because she doesn't have to do this. And ladies and gentlemen, like she told you, she don't work for free. And so I get her to come on here and do this, and I don't pay her anything. Yet, once y'all start subscribing and doing all these things, and these people pay me, we can do some things. But
I will still do it for free for you.
But I appreciate you so much. Good luck with everything. We gotta stay in touch and make sure we check up on each other as we used to do. But just got to do a little bit more often. But yeah, listen, if y'all haven't, you see there in that corner, down there in that corner over there, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell. Make sure you guys subscribe. Tell somebody. The stuff you're getting today is going to help you guys. Especially for those people in high school, supposed to be those people that are going to be graduating soon. I want to focus on helping people. Just a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a week ago, I had my cousin on here. I'm going to have him on once a month. Like, we about to get this whole NFT, Bitcoin, all that good stuff going. So you're exposed to it. You know what I'm saying? Because the lack of the knowledge is going to hinder us, and we need to talk to our kids about this stuff now. Life insurance, and this cryptocurrency and all these things that are coming up. You know what I'm saying? So we don't get to a point where we're looking like, dang, Bitcoin was like $20 and I should have got it. And now it's worth this. And you know what I'm saying? And just having the mindset, like one thing that, changed my mind about a lot of things, and don't get the game twisted, I'm still a sneaker person. I told myself 2022, I'm not going to buy any sneakers. I'm going to do better. But my perspective for it is just like this. For all the Nikes I buy, every time I get the urge to buy it, I should buy stock in it. So if I can spend $200 on sneakers and Nike costs $175 a share, and I can be owner of the company, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to change the perspective of it. It's just like when you get the urge to do it, it's like, instead of spending the $200 on a shoe that I'm not even going to wear every day, I can at least make money by putting that $200 into that company. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we want to do this year. That's what we want to make sure that you guys are on. So like I said, we're going to make sure you mentally prepared. We're going to make sure you financially prepared for everything with that. So we're going to do better. 22, we're going to do better. We're going to get double blessed. We're going to be disciplined this year. We're going for everything. Listen, there's no plan B. All right. We ain't got no plan B. We're just going for it this year. All right. So you guys already know what I need you to do. Like I do every week, I need you to make sure you live on purpose and make sure you live in purpose. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
You've been listening to the Giving a Purpose podcast. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, or Google Play to get new, fresh weekly episodes. For more, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.